Hey there, everybody. It's another great day for a workout here on Jessica Smith TV. And today I thought we could go through a more fusion style routine that I'm calling Mind, Body, Muscle Connect. I think so often we're just kind of going through the motions, not only in our workouts, but in our daily lives. So I thought we could try this as an exercise to help us get a little bit more connected to ourselves, be a little bit more present in what we're doing, in hopes that we can in turn get even more out of all of our workouts, but also in everything we're doing in our lives as well. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you'll join me here. We're just gonna take a little side to side step tap, and I want you to really work through your feet. If you can do this barefoot, it would be great. So we can really start to articulate through the feet, just pointing those toes. Make sure you're not crunching your toes under. We don't wanna cause any cramping. Good. And just go ahead and from here, just start to bring your feet about hip distance apart. We're just gonna start by lifting just the toes off the floor, spreading them wide, and kind of see if you can roll from your pinkies down to your big toes. I know it's gonna feel kind of strange, probably very challenging to do. Lift and curl. So again, just connecting to your feet and the floor, lifting the toes, little wave from the pinkies down to the big toes. Now you may not be able to do this just yet. That's okay. Just lift as high as you can. Maybe you just want to hold the toes lifted and then slowly build into that lowering of the toes. One more time. Good. Now let's get a little bit more into the ankle flexion here by just alternating, lifting the feet off the floor, but I'm gonna keep my heel connected to the ground. So I've got a nice little bend and extend in my knee here. Just flexing through the feet, trying to lift them as high up off the floor as I can, bringing the toes to the shins. Good. Nice. So often we kind of jump into our workouts, but really ankle mobility, foot strength, toe strength, mobility, all of that makes a huge difference to our body's ability to move through a nice full range of motion. Good. Now just go ahead and take a little lift of your heels. So we're reversing what we just did. I've got a softness in my knee, but I'm keeping my legs kind of in one place here. I'm not bending and extending the knee as much as I was before. Just lifting the heels and lowering. And you don't have to come all the way up onto the balls of the feet. Just see if you can lift. And as you're lifting, start to make a deep connection to the center of your body. So I want you to pull the belly in. Don't hold your breath. Don't suck in your gut. Just see if you can strengthen and contract from the inside out. So all of our strength comes from that internal place in our bodies. And it's amazing because the strength of the core supports our body, but it also kind of is where we feel things, right? So when we get what we call that gut reaction or sensation or feeling or instinct, it's right around this area. So feeling that strength, feeling that power that center and core has over not only our body, but our lives as well, our mind, everything is connected. Good. Now from here, let's go ahead and stretch those calves a little bit with a little heel dig. Just flex your foot, pull it up and contract the quadriceps here. I have a nice bend in my standing leg for balance. If you want to hold on to something, go right ahead. We're just gonna flex through the heel and lift out and up. It's not a high lift, but I really want you to see if you can squeeze and contract through the top of your thigh here. Good. Abs in tight, shoulders are square, hips are square. 2 more. Last time. Now, point through the foot. You can tap the toe for balance or just float it. We're gonna circle the ankle. Good. Reverse direction of your circle. Make it as big as you're able to. And release it. Let's bring it back in. A little softness in that standing knee. Flex the heel down. Again, take a moment to engage the top of that thigh. Flex and lift and lower. Don't be shy about using something for balance if it helps you out. Good. Again, feel that core connection here. Abs bracing in tight. Nice tall posture through the spine. Good. And taking it down, point the toe. Again, tap the floor if you need to or float it. Circle, Make it as big as you can. Just notice if things are popping and crackling, sometimes that happens. Try to smooth it out as much as you can. Other direction. Nice. Now let's bring the feet about hip distance apart. Keep a nice softness in the knees. So moving down from the bottom of the feet up to the top of the body. So just take a minute here, lightly tap your fingertips on your shoulders and just start to roll the shoulders front and back, checking in with yourself, seeing how you're feeling. The neck and shoulder area holds so much tension for so many of us. So if you're feeling any tensing in the muscles, see if you can just kind of roll it out with that shoulder circle. Reverse it back to front. Good. Today is really just about being kind to your body, taking care of yourself, checking in with yourself. You know, so often we just zoom through the entire day before we even kind of stop and go, hey, what just happened? So take a minute here and just breathe. Be present. Notice what's going on with you today. Good. From here, let's take the arms up. Just stretch, flexing through the heels of your hands if you can. Press up to the sky. Take a deep breath in, softness in the knees. Inhale, if you can, a little extension in your upper back. Now we're gonna reverse that and just round and reach slightly forward. I don't want you to go too far forward, just round, separate your shoulder blades, kind of let your arms hang. Take it again, flexing through the hands, pressing up. Inhale, open up through that upper back. Exhale, round, release. Softness in the knees. One more time, flexing the hands. Press, lift the ceiling, extend through that upper back. Round and release it. Good. Now, if you can bend a little bit more forward, just kind of let those arms hang again, shoulders are separated. Just start to make some circles here towards the floor. Reverse direction of your circles. Good. Now let's go ahead and support the spine more here. Take your hands on top of your thighs and just taking a little version of standing cat-cow. We're gonna tuck the tailbone under, contract your abdominals as you do that. So I want you to really brace and feel this as strong as you would a crunch or a reverse crunch. Tuck the tailbone, brace everything in, and then just release it, extend, stretch those muscles. Don't over sink into your back, but just give me a little arch and open across your chest. Let's do that with the breath. Exhale, contract. Contract, squeeze, 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 scoop the belly in. And then inhale. Take a nice deep breath, nice little stretch. And it's not huge. We're not gonna strain the neck here. Just contract, pull in, brace, brace, brace. And then again, extend and nice little stretch. One more time, connecting deeply to those abdominal muscles. Go deep into the muscles. Maybe you wanna also start lifting up to the pelvic floor here. And then just release it slightly, but keep that support of your abdominals as you stretch. Nice. Now really keep that nice bend in your knee. We're gonna send the tailbone a little further back and just start to slide the hands down, the shins maybe you need to stop right here. So you're probably feeling a little stretch in the hamstrings, but I want you to keep that spine nice and neutral. So we're gonna come up from here with that nice neutral spine, bringing the hips back underneath the chest, open and extend through that upper back again. Again, hinging forward, send your tailbone back, sliding the hands down the front of the legs, keep the nice bend in the knees. Come up with that nice neutral spine and open up. Good, so one of the things that happens in our workouts here with those movements like our deadlifts, even the forward fold, is it can really stress the spine. So forward fold puts that spine in that forward flexion, which can be a little stressful for the back. And then the deadlift, if we have any rounding in the spine, can really strain through the low back muscles. So this nice neutral spine alignment here, just helping to develop that supportive strength along the spine. As we reach forward, we're getting a nice dynamic stretch in the hamstrings. Good, open it back. One more time. Nice. Now from here, let's take the feet out a little bit wider, starting to build a little bit more heat in the body. So I want you to just take a comfortable wide position for your feet. Knees and toes are opening from the hips. And we're gonna bend the knees, and you don't have to go low, and extend up. So again, this is where that mind-body muscle connection is really gonna start to get important here. So I want you to just bend as deeply as you wanna go here and come up. This is where we need to make adjustments, so pay attention. Is your knee getting cranky? Are your hips bothering you? Do you wanna take a regular squat instead? Just kind of see how this feels today. And one of the things I really want you to think about is engaging through the tops of the thighs, especially as you press down away from the floor. Press, press, press with the tops of the thighs. Squeeze through the glutes. Down, shoulders back. Nice. So if you're just kind of going through the motions of this, you're like, this isn't doing anything. But we can go deeper, go a little layer further into this, really start to connect. You're gonna start to feel it a little more. Let's take it down and hold it. And I want you to just take a small up and down. So we're gonna stay low and just press. If you want more support, hands are on the thighs. If you want a little bit more from that upper back, we're gonna reach and squeeze. Small range of motion again. I'm gonna extend the arms and then pull the elbows in. So think about the last time you went for a walk on the beach in the sand, right? You remember how much more challenging each step felt as you were walking through all that thick sand. It's kind of what I want you to think about as we go through these movements. Imagine you're moving through that thick sand. You're giving each movement more resistance just by imagining it, just by thinking about it. Out, press. Squeeze your elbows into your body. Nice. 4 more. Squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Okay, so we're gonna stay in the legs. We're gonna go back into the upper body. Just turn your body so you're more on an angle. That back foot is lifted. We're gonna sit way back into the hips. So this leg is almost performing a little squat here, but I've really got that nice deep hip hinge because I want you to think more glutes on this one. So we're gonna sit back, press halfway up. So it's down and back. So you could think about this like a supported 1.5 leg squat. Maybe you want to think about it as a little modified lunge. But what's really important is we've got that hip hinge and our neutral spine here. So let's start to add some upper body work to this. So we're gonna bend the elbows in, bring your palms together, just kind of press and squeeze through your chest first. Keeping the bend in your elbows, you're gonna open up to a little W position, squeezing the shoulder blades back and together as I lift up. So I'm pulling back. Nothing has changed about the shape or alignment of my spine, but I'm pulling the shoulder blades back and together, squeezing. Back of the neck stays long. Down and lift. Let's do about 4 more here. And you might be moving at a different speed as me, that's fine. 2 and 1. Now let's hold it here, bring your hands to your thighs, take a breath. Tap and extend that back leg out. I want you to see if you can balance. Lift that back leg, squeeze to that back cheek. Now you can keep your hands here, or you could reach them up, thumbs up, to a letter Y, right outside of the ears. Squeeze and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to that center squat position. Down and little pulse up, good. Again, connect. Pull in. Slight extension, squeeze, breathe, come back to your center, smaller range of motion, no added weight, lots of focus. If your mind starts wandering off, if you're getting distracting thoughts, if you're starting to curse at me, I know it happens, see if you can come back to where we are, come back to your breath, come back to your muscles, pressing away from the floor with the tops of those thighs, squeeze your glutes. 2 more. Last time. Now let's take a moment to set that up on the other side. So bring it in, feet coming closer, just change your foot position. So again, however you want to think of this, hinging at the hips, pull. So each side feels different, right? Each side presents new challenges, new things you might be working with. This is my crankier knee, so I'm gonna really make sure that my knee isn't rolling in or out. I want to really make sure I'm sitting back in the hips. That back foot is light. So I don't want you to be feeling that back knee at all. I want you to really concentrate into that front glute mostly. Nice hip hinge here. Nice neutral spine, and breathe. And again, if you're just going through the motions or you're just watching this, you're like, eh. But if you can really tap into that alignment, press and squeeze, you're probably starting to feel it right about now. Good. So let's tap into that upper body. Squeeze the palms together. Just take a minute to contract through the chest. And we're gonna open up to that W position. Coming down halfway. Squeeze, not even halfway. About 30 degrees from the shoulders. Pulling the shoulder blades. I want you to work on that retraction through your upper back. We use that so much in our upper back movements, like our pulls, our rows. Shoulder blades are drawing back and together towards the spine. Good. Squeeze. Make this more shallow if you need to. Light on that back foot. Thinking about driving through that front foot nice and strong. Tap into those glutes on that front standing leg. Woo. Good. Holding it down, hands come to the thigh. Extend that back leg, tap the foot. Lift and lengthen that back leg, squeeze, hold that contraction. Again, you're welcome to stay here. If you'd like to take those arms to that letter Y with your thumbs up. Again, feel the connection, shoulder blades pulling back and together. All those muscles that line the spine are engaged. Lengthen through that back foot. Come on up, feet together. Woo, okay, so let's take a minute. We're gonna come down to the floor. So I'm just turning this way to make a little space. Take a deep breath in, my feet are together. Inhale, bend your knees. Neutral spine hinging at the hips, arms are out to the sides. Take your arms back and down by your hips, turn your palms up. Just give me a little press and squeeze through the triceps. So I'm thinking about bringing my hands slightly back and together as they press up. So bend the knees as much as you need to keep that nice neutral spine. The chest might need to come up a little more, that's fine. The further forward you go, the more you're gonna work the back muscles. So if your back muscles need more of a break, come up more. If you're ready for that challenge, you can stay more forward, but nice bend in the knees. Don't let the spine round. Stick the tailbone out behind you. And the further back you can go, if you drive your heels down, you might even feel a little bit more glute contraction here too. Press down through the feet, squeeze back. Little presses. Good. Last 4, 3, 2. Bend your knees as deeply as you need to get your hands to the floor. We're just gonna walk out to the hands and the knees. So you can separate your knees, hip distance apart now. Taking the hands underneath the shoulders. Then let's take a moment again, taking that cat-cow position, thinking about the contraction of your abdominals. Brace in and up. Engage through the pelvic floor. Lift up through the pelvic floor muscles. And take that slight extension through the low back, opening through the chest. Don't sink into it. Exhale. Again, subtle but strong. Inhale, extend and open. Good. Again, exhale, contract. Extend and open it. Nicely done. Now from here, we're gonna take our outside arm, or whatever arm you want to start with, it really doesn't matter. We're gonna keep this bottom arm pressed into the floor, a little softness in the elbow, abs in tight. Just kind of extend out so your fingers are slightly out from your shoulder. We're gonna open up from here, rotating through that chest, just ever so slightly, keeping your hips nice and square. Pull your elbow back, slightly bending it, and then inhale, come back down. Exhale, rotating through the upper back, hips are staying forward. Pull that elbow slightly back so you also feel that engagement through the upper back. Down again. Pull. So make sure you're not sinking into your bottom wrist. If it's really bothering you, you could modify this down on your elbow here. So again, we're working just on that upper back rotation. So you have options, just make it work for you. Pull, pull, pull. Good. Let's do 2 more, nice and slow and controlled. Exhaling as we're twisting. Inhaling and releasing. 1 more time. Good. Now keep your elbow bent, but square up your shoulders. Again, you could come back to your elbow if you wanted to. Pull that elbow in, squeeze your shoulder blade down, and reach out and up like you're making a letter Y, half of a letter Y. Pull down to that W. Inhale and exhale. Pull the shoulder down, squeeze through the side of the back. Core muscles are engaging. Everything is staying nice and square here. Relax your neck. 1 more time. Good, just take a moment. We're gonna switch sides. So take a second just to switch out the arm. So we're gonna come back. Again, you're welcome to stand your elbow on that supportive side. Reach the arms out. And so we have that nice twist to the upper back, bend in the elbow, looking up, and then coming back down. So I've got a little softness in my supporting elbow if I'm not coming down to the floor with it. And just kind of think about almost gripping the mat with your fingers that are on the mat so that you're engaging through those muscles. You're not just sinking into your wrists. So your head could be going with that rotation. If it feels better to keep looking at the floor, you could be doing that. So again, hips are staying square. I'm rotating through the upper back, but I'm also bending and squeezing behind that shoulder blade to pull that arm back. Nice, slow and controlled range of motion. Pull. And imagine you're holding a weight here. You don't have to add weight to create that nice, thick, strong movement through the air. Give it some resistance. Let's try 1 more like that. Good, now keeping that elbow bent, square your shoulders up, make that half letter Y, pull down your back. Relax your neck. Again, if it feels more comfortable for you to be on your elbow here, you can. Maybe you want to come all the way down onto your belly. Whatever's working for you. Squeeze down the side of that back. So it's almost like you're doing a pull-up, but the body is staying stationary here. Squeeze. It would really be half of a pull-up because we're only doing 1 arm at a time. Squeeze. Nice, 1 more. Great job. Okay, so from here, let's stay on the hands and the knees. And we're gonna focus more on the chest. So it's a modified push-up. If you have issues with push-ups, you can go ahead and come to a wall and just do this on an incline on a wall or a countertop as well. But I want you to take the hands, just slightly externally rotating for the shoulders if that feels good to you. If you'd rather keep them more forward, that's fine. And you can start this really on your knees or shifting slightly forward so you're off of the kneecaps, a little more challenge here. I want you to just take a small little bend and extend through the arms. Bend and extend. So it's a very small range of motion, staying at the top of what would be our push-up. And the further out that I walk my knees, the more resistance and challenge I'm gonna add to this. But I don't have to add that weight if I really add that focus into it, right? So I want you to push down. Imagine as if you were going to slide your hands together. So that's not gonna happen, but I want you to feel a contraction through the midline of your chest as you press away. Push. Again, don't be shy about going to the wall or the counter if this is too much for your wrists. 2 more. Last time. If you are on the wall or the counter, come meet us back down on the floor because we're gonna come all the way down. Good. Working more through the back side of the body here. So we're gonna go ahead and open those arms out in front of us, almost making like a little diamond shape with your elbows bent, palms down. I'm gonna keep my head up so I can talk to you, but go ahead and look straight down at the floor here. As we lift, just take your chest slightly off the floor and bring those elbows in by your sides as you extend through the spine. Squeezing through the glutes, keeping the tops of the feet pressed into your mat. Slowly lower back. Exhale. And it's not about how high you come off the mat. So I really want you to feel that connection in your back, squeezing the elbows down by your sides. Just a slight lift of the chest. Maybe the chest stays down the whole time. That's fine too. Just lifting up, squeezing those elbows in by your sides. So the shape of the arm doesn't change, it's just moving overhead and then down by the sides. Hold this one up if you can. Take your palms down to the floor, retract the shoulders and down. So you could stay with that extension. If your back is getting tired, lower your chest. Just work from here. So feel that upper back. Squeeze, so watch the tension in the neck. Chin stays connected to your chest. Back of the neck is long. Pull back in together. Four more if you can. Two more. Last time. Great job. Relax it down. Now, if you wanted to, you can make a little pillow for your forehead here. Just put your chin on your hands, whatever is comfortable and keeps your neck from straining. We're gonna bend one knee in. Now, you might feel better if your knee is open more underneath your hip. Just kind of see how this goes. Pointing through the toes first, we're just gonna squeeze and lift. Small range of motion. My hip bones are both staying forward into the floor. Just a tiny little lift and squeeze, really squeezing through the glutes here. Squeeze. Good. You're also gonna feel this in that low back as well. Those glutes and low back muscles are connected and working together. Now hold it right here, flex through your heel and just pulse that heel in. So you might want to keep the knee slightly lifted for more intensity. Maybe you want to keep the knee on the mat, but really focus on the back of the leg, pulling that heel in. Small range of motion. You could imagine you have one of those Pilates balls that you're pressing your leg into, squeezing back. Get those hamstrings working. Squeeze, squeeze. Again, mind-muscle connection. Stay present and connected to your body. Curl. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Let's take it down from here. Other leg, curl it in, point that toe, small lift. And again, make those adjustments with your knee position. Maybe it needs to be more turned out. Maybe it needs to be more underneath your hip. One side may feel different than the other. Just adapt it and adjust it. But that's the value of being present in your body at all times. It really helps us just make those adjustments, those modifications can help keep us more protected while we're working out, especially if we're adding weight later. Good. Squeeze that back glute. Focus on that muscle. Squeeze and lift. Resisting gravity to come up. And 4, and 3, and 2. Holding it down, flexing through that foot. Again, knee could be lifted for more intensity as you squeeze in or stay down, but focus on that pulling in with your heel. Use the back of the thigh. Squeeze and squeeze. Good. Deep breaths. One of my favorite quotes is, "Be where your feet are." And it is so much easier said than done. Especially when you're doing things like this, your mind's like, okay, what else do I gotta do today? See if you can catch yourself in those moments. Bring yourself back to the muscle, back to the movement. Stay connected. 4, 3, 2, we did it. Great job. Okay, so from here, bend that other leg that we started with out to the side. So again, this is going to depend on the amount of flexibility you have in your hip, how this feels to you. We're just going to flex that foot and do a little internal rotation of the hip. So you're just going to try to lift your heel, turning in and coming down. So if you have a lot of flexibility in the hip, you might be able to come up further, farther, Maybe you need to stay lower. Just kind of play with it and see what's happening for you today. Good. Now let's, before we go to the other side, turn onto the side of the body, and we're gonna bend that knee and just kind of rest your foot. See what feels comfortable to you. You can start here with your foot slightly on the floor. Make your head comfortable up here too. Maybe you want to take both knees bent. That feels more comfortable there. Maybe you're ready for a little more lift. So just working on that external rotation from the hip now. Turning it in, turning it out. Whatever version feels good to you, but activates also through those glutes, outside of the hip. Squeeze. Last time. Good, and just turn back so that you're lying face down. And we're gonna take that to the other side. So we're gonna bend that knee. Again, to your own degree. Maybe you need to be down here. Maybe you can come up here. Just taking that internal rotation through the hip very slowly, very gently. Seeing how this feels. To me, it feels a little easier on this side. I have some issues with that right hip too, which is probably why I have issues with my right knee too. But again, just take inventory, see what's happening, see how this is feeling. Good, taking a minute to turn onto our side. And again, you could start here. You can start to point that toe, lift it. You can bend your bottom knee here, keeping the feet more together. I kind of feel it more when I let that foot come up with it, but it may be different from you. Just kind of see how this is feeling to you. Again, the goal is to really feel this right here in those glutes, right outside that hip. And again, make sure we're not adding any tension or stress to the neck or the upper body here. Just a few more at your own tempo. Nicely done. Let's come back to the arms here. So we're gonna press up onto the knees and just bring yourself to your hands to set this up. So we're gonna bend the elbows underneath the shoulders. Abs are braced in nice and tight. We're gonna take a little tricep press up. So I want you to press through the backs of the arms, bend down. Keeping that spine nice and straight. And again, paying attention to how this is feeling to your elbows, to your wrists. You might want to take it a little further away. Bring the knees farther away. Squeezing through the backs of those arms, just really pressing up and controlling it down. Feel the backs of those arms. Keep adjusting, keep adapting, keep making it work for you. Nice. Let's just take a minute to sit our hips back towards our heels. Take a breath, stretch the arms out. Nice. And we're just going to wrap up here. A little work for those abdominals. Holding the backs of the thighs, knees bent, feet flat if you can. Roll back through that spine, really taking your time to come down here. Just lengthen into the floor. Take your time. Coming back. Nice. So let's bring the fingertips lightly to the back of the head. Take a moment just to breathe here. And as you exhale, I want you to think of tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling so that that low back comes in contact with the floor. Bracing through the pelvic floor. Think about zipping up through the pelvic floor muscles. Just hold that pelvic tilt here. Hold, brace, and squeeze. Seeing if you can maintain that pelvic tilt, brace everything in, and just begin to lift the head, neck, and shoulders slightly off the mat. So my shoulder blades are still on the floor. If you can keep going, come up a little higher, hold it, brace, lift. And then we're gonna release the pelvic tilt as we come down so that those muscles take a moment to release. Inhale, exhale, pelvic tilt. Press the low back down. Keep exhaling, keep lifting, bracing, pulling in, holding. Slowly release, lengthen, release that pelvic tilt as the head comes back. So it's small, controlled. You gotta really focus on this one. So pelvic tilt, brace in, lift up through that pelvic floor. Exhale, keep curling up through that upper body. Don't pull on your head. Hold, slowly lengthen down. My muscles already start to shake a little bit. Again, pelvic tilt, brace. Keep contracting out. Don't force it. Slowly release. If you want to just focus on the upper body curling up, that's fine too. If that pelvic tilt doesn't feel good to your back or it's just not working for you, take it out. Just really work on that controlled, concentrated movement here. Let's see if we can take one more. Relax, let it go. Nice. Take a minute just to hug your knees, rock gently from side to side. And just turn onto one side just to bring yourself up to a seated position. So this last piece is of course optional. All of this is optional, but I would invite you to join me if you can, just to sit comfortably. Maybe if it's not comfortable for you to sit on the floor, you want to sit in a chair or you want to lie back down. But wherever you're at, if you can take a moment just to close your eyes and breathe. And just focus on the 3 G's. So I think meditation is great, but sometimes my mind just wanders too much. So what's been really helping me is to focus on 3 specific things. And the first being gratitude. So if you'd like to, I invite you just to focus on something that you're really grateful for in your life right now in this moment. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Sometimes we think it's got to be this big lofty thing. It could be the great cup of coffee you had this morning in silence, staring out the window of your kitchen. But just feel that gratitude. Feel through your entire body how good it feels just to be thankful for something that's important to you, that feels good to you. Go to that moment, whatever it is, go to that thing. If it's giving someone a hug that you love, imagine it. Just feel those sensations for a moment. Go to that place of pure gratitude. And then from there, moving on to the second one, if you'd like, is just focusing on growth. I wanted to call this goals, but I really don't like that word anymore. I'd like you to think about growth. Is there an area in your life that you're working on growing in, learning, expanding? Visualize whatever it is that you're working on or towards or with. Maybe you've gone back to school. See yourself having completed that goal, having been through the work. Go to the end of that journey and feel yourself as already have accomplished it, have achieved it. You've already gotten it. You've already been there. feel how good that feels. Feel that accomplishment. Feel that growth as a part of you right now in this moment. And then finally, if you're still with me, I invite you to think of the word grace. You know, it's getting used a lot these days, and I know I use it a lot myself, but is there a place in your life that you could give yourself more grace? And one of the definitions of grace is just simply an act of kindness. Are you really hard on yourself when it comes to something specific? You know, I think so many of us are so hard on ourselves when it comes to our physical appearance. Could you give yourself a little more grace with that right now? And maybe it's not that, maybe it's something else. Whatever it is for you, see if you can go there for a moment. Just think about something you give yourself more grace about at this moment. And right now, give yourself that grace. Whatever it is that you need to hear, tell yourself that right now. Maybe it's just, you know what, you're good just the way you are. Maybe it's, I love you. Whatever you need to hear, I want you to take a moment and give it to yourself right now. And if you can, take those 3 things with you, that moment of gratitude, feeling and seeing the growth that you want to bring in your life, and then finally just continuing to give yourself grace as you go through and grow through this journey of life. When you feel ready, let your eyes open. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for going through this routine with me, this final closing. And I just want to encourage you to keep up all of the great work that you're doing, taking care of your body and your health. And I want you to know that I'm looking forward to moving with you again soon. Thanks so much for being here. Take good care.